from Beauty We Heart, and today I'm going to be looking at some products that I think that every girl on a budget should have in her makeup bag. I recently did a haul on NYX, ELF and Beauties Factory's products, and I purchased these from Crush Cosmetics and Beauties Factory directly, so I'll give you the links to that under this post. But let's have a look at some of the fantastic things that I picked up. First up, I've got ELF's contouring blush and bronzing powder, and you can see that the packaging is very similar to the NARS packaging, but it's plastic. I bought this for $7.99 from crushcosmetics.com.au, and I believe on the ELF website it's only $3, so it's super cheap. And I bought it because I thought, wouldn't it be great if I had a dupe for NARS Orgasm and Casino or Laguna without having to pay the same price. So what I found was a pan with, or two pans with really pretty colours. One's a nice peachy pink with gold flecking through it, and the other is a medium toned contouring bronzer. Now, in comparison to NARS, I noticed straight away that in the pan, NARS Orgasm looks a lot deeper, but when you swatch them, they actually look quite similar. The only difference being NARS Orgasm has more of a gold sheen to it. Even though this has gold flecking through it, it doesn't come up as obviously, I think, as the NARS Orgasm. So I'll just show you the two colours swatched on my hand. So you can see here it's a really pretty pink, and I'll just swatch the NARS Orgasm next to it so you have a comparison. So there's definitely more of a sheen to NARS Orgasm, but I mean, looking at the colours on camera, there isn't a great difference. There is definitely a difference. This is more, I think, peachy, kind of gold. But as a cheaper alternative, this is awesome. It's definitely a bit chalkier in texture, but you know, for $3 or $7, I'm not complaining. So in terms of the bronzer, like I said, it has a nice brownie base to it instead of being that horrible kind of orangey, and I didn't find that it oxidized to an orangey colour. I'd say that it's more suitable to light to medium skin tones. If you have a darker skin tone, like if you're darker than a MAC NC42, then this is probably not going to do much for you in terms of contouring. It will probably just give you more of a bronzy glow, but not have much of an effect. But overall, I think these two products in one little casing is fantastic. I would definitely repurchase that given the price. I also picked up the ELF Flawless Finish Foundation, and I have this in caramel, and for reference I'm about an NC40, and this shade matched my skin perfectly. Now there's a pretty limited shade selection, so you might want to hop online and try and find swatches of the shade that you think you are. So I'm actually wearing this on my skin today. The coverage is definitely full. It's probably one of the best full coverage drugstore foundations that I've ever used, and I prefer it to the other drugstore equivalents like Revlon's Colour Stay and Photo Ready, which are also full coverage liquids. I found that this just looks nicer because of that dewiness that it has. A couple of things to probably note in terms of ingredients is that it claims to be oil-free, however it contains mineral oil. Mineral oil is not great if you're prone to breakouts because it doesn't allow your pores to breathe. It also contains parabens and fragrance. And the reason why I kind of mention those two is because they're known to be toxic, and if you have sensitive skin, then fragrance is also not something that you want in a product that you use daily. The foundation comes in sort of a frosted bottle with a plastic pump applicator. I think the pump applicator is a bit average. So I've just squeezed out a tiny amount of foundation there, and I'm going to blend it out, and you can see how well it's actually concealing that pen mark. And it's virtually gone. So I found putting this on, I almost didn't have to wear a concealer. So this is super full coverage, but in a good way without looking cakey. So I also snagged the e.l.f. makeup brushes in the studio. So the brushes that I've got are the blush brush, which is kind of, it's got a little kind of tapered head, and if I do kind of a size comparison there, you can see that it's only a small head, and if you like kind of the fluffier blush brushes, then you might not like this, but as an applicator, before I kind of blend out maybe with a Kabuki brush, and if you want a bit more control of your blush, then this is a good option. I've also got the angled foundation brush, which is really nice. Like, all of the bristles are, see if I run my fingers over it, there's no shedding, they're all synthetic bristles, and like in terms of synthetic brushes, I'd say these are kind of up there with the best, next to probably the Eco Tool sets that you can buy from Priceline here in Australia. I also got the eyeshadow C brush. That's also really soft and feels really nice, and is good for kind of blending out your eyeshadows. I've got the angled contour brush, and the head is nice and soft also, but probably a little bit too big for contouring on my small little eyes. So if you've got smaller eyes, you might not find that as great, but because it's a contour brush, I have found that I can use it kind of with my bronzer to do some contouring on the sides of my nose. So it still comes in handy. And then I also picked up another eyeshadow brush, and this is a contour brush. It's kind of got a nice domed head, and once again the bristles are kind of nicely packed in, but super soft. So overall, I mean, I'm really happy with these brushes, and they were just so cheap. I went onto the e.l.f. website and purchased the 11-piece set, so I will definitely review that when I get that in the bag, or in the mail rather. And I forgot to show you the e.l.f. Kabuki brush, which is $15 from Crush Cosmetics, and I think $5 in the US, and it's really, really soft, and I love it. I read all these rave reviews on the NYX Nude on Nude palette, which is supposed to be a comparative product to the Urban Decay Naked palette. So I'll just show you the box. It's in a nice compact box. There's 20 eyeshadows, and there's 10 lip glosses. So just open it up, and you can see there that there's a range of really pretty neutral colours. So it's not like buying a Maybelline quad where the colours look really pretty, but when you actually put them on the skin, there's like no colour payoff whatsoever. Oops, I've got a bit of hair on my face. Okay. And in terms of the lip glosses, I wasn't really expecting much from them, because, you know, palette lip glosses are always, they look pretty in the pan, but they never really come up on your lips. I haven't really tried these to a huge extent, but I think they're reasonable. But to be honest, you know, I kind of paid for the eyeshadows, and this tray down here is just a little bonus. So overall, really love this palette. I can easily take that with me when I'm traveling, and I don't want to have to pick through a whole bunch of eyeshadows and carry, you know, the whole cavalry with me. Highly recommended. Another NYX product that I'm absolutely loving is this Push Up Bra for eyes, and it comes in a dual kind of ended pen. One side is a nice creamy nude colour, and then on the other side you've got a deep brown. So with the deep brown, I use that as the filler, obviously. I actually today kind of filled my eyebrows with a powder, and then for any bits that are kind of missed, or just to give it a little bit more shape, I used this brown brow pencil. And then in terms of the highlighter, I just use that under the arches just to give it that extra definition, and I think that's the actual push-up element of this product. And it's, yeah, seriously just the best thing ever, and I keep it in my makeup bag all the time. And then I also purchased the NYX Mega Shine Gloss, and the colour that I've got here is Perfect. And the reason why I picked Perfect was because it looked like the lip gloss equivalent of the blush that I just showed you earlier. It's like a nice peachy pinky gloss with shimmer to it. Then the last of my NYX products is the HD Eyeshadow Base, which is an eye primer that has been compared to the Urban Decay Primer Potion. It was only $12, so I thought it was worth a try, and I really love it. A couple of things to note is that it contains silicone and parabens, which some of you might not agree with, but the silicone element definitely helps to smooth out your eyelids, and acts as a really good base because it increases the longevity of your eyeshadows, and I found that my eyeshadows didn't crease and they lasted a lot longer, and the colours actually came up better. So that's everything that an eye primer should do. So I mean, this is a really inexpensive alternative. And now I'm really excited to show you some of the palettes that I bought from Beauties Factory. I am going through a bit of a palette phase, I think, at the moment. So if I do a lot of reviews on palettes, you will kind of know why. I got the blush palette, which looks like this. And it just came in the mail today, and I'm so excited. So this is kind of like the grand unveiling. And here's the blushes, and they just look so pretty in the pan. You can just see the kind of this beautiful kind of neon mauvey pinks, and then there's some nice neutral blushes in there, and I absolutely love kind of peaches and corals. So there's the perfect mix in there, and for kind of like the louder colours, if you've got darker skin tones, I mean, these will look fantastic. And look how pigmented that is with just a light tap. And I'm really happy with it. I'll just do another kind of swatch on my finger. Look how pigmented that is. There's a nice mix of kind of matte and shimmery blushes in there, and I've kind of yet to try them all out, but I'm so happy with that. That's awesome. So I hope you've enjoyed my walkthrough of the must-have products for those of you who are on a shoestring budget. If you've got any questions about any of the products and felt that I kind of didn't review them in enough depth, feel free to post comments or questions, and I'll try my best to get back to you. But until the next time and the next haul, this is Julie from Beauty We Heart, and I'll see you next time.